Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. Today's video is on the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, English 2021, the big picture and how you can make an A easily. This is part of our English preparatory lessons. All right? If you are new to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. You will find a red button tagged subscribe. Click on it, and of course, you'll be subscribed to the channel. Click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video is uploaded on the channel, you will be notified instantly. On this channel, we create videos that will equip you with linguistic tools for effective communication in English, and also to help you to pass your English exams. We also upload videos on content creation, digital marketing, and online business. If you are interested in videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and activate the notification system so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you'll be instantly notified. Let's dive into the lesson without much ado. Now, WASSCE English exam scheme at a glance. We want to take a holistic look at the WASSCE English exam to give you, a clear picture of what to expect in the entire exam. Now, what is known as the Senior WASSCE English exam is made up of 3 parts. English Language 1 consists of objective test questions. English Language 2 consists of theory questions. And English Language Part 3 consists of test of orals. Then let's look at Part 1. Of course, we are looking at 3 parts, and it depends on how how they are numbered in a particular WASSCE exam. All right, but these are the 3 main parts. So let's look at English Language 1 objective test questions. We have section 1, which will give you questions on antonyms or words most nearly opposite in meaning. Section 2, collocation or words that best complete a given sentence. Section 3, questions on sentence interpretation. Section 4, questions on synonyms or words nearest in meaning. Section 5, collocation, semantics, and so on. And there you will find questions asking you to choose a word or words that best complete sentences. In section 6, you will find questions on register, words most suitable to fill the numbered gaps, all right? So that's the big picture you have in English Language 1. Now let's take them section by section, beginning with section 1. In section 1, of course, we find questions on antonyms. In each of the following sentences, there is one underlined word and one gap. From the list of words lettered A to D, choose the one that is most nearly opposite to the underlined word and that will at the same time correctly fill the gap in the sentence. Of course, this is what I call, contextual antonyms. Contextual antonyms. All right. Now, why do we call these contextual antonyms? Because you have to first look at the meaning of the underlined word, exactly the way it is used in the sentence, for you to be able to look for the exact opposite. Now, let's look at question 1, which we want to use for illustration. Question 1, a guest should not make derogatory remarks about his host, but dash statements. So we have to look for a word opposite in meaning to derogatory that will fit in here. So don't make derogatory remarks, but make dash remarks. So you are looking for a word that is opposite to derogatory. First, you have to understand the meaning of derogatory, how it is used in this sentence. All right? The word derogatory means disrespectful or belittling or slighting, rude, nasty, abusive, or even demeaning. All right? So let's look at the word disrespectful. So in this case, a guest should not make disrespectful or abusive remarks about his host, but dash statements, you know. So in that case, we look at the options. Option A is candid. No, candid is not the exact opposite of derogatory. When you are candid, you are frank, but it's not the opposite of derogatory. Now, appealing is also not the opposite of derogatory. Polite is close to it, but not the exact opposite as it is used here. All right. Then D is complementary, because complementary has to do with, you know, saying something good about someone, you know. So that is exactly the way it is. When you say something derogatory about someone, you are saying something disrespectful. So polite is close to it, but then a derogatory is a direct comment that, you know, slights or belittles someone. So this is where polite does not fit in, but complimentary, because when you can compliment someone, you know, all right, you can say something complimentary about someone, that is something, you know, appreciative, something approving, something is like something commendatory, something congratulatory. So that is exactly the meaning here. It has to do with what you say about someone, directly about someone. All right. Okay, so this is the way to answer questions in section 1. You will find in the description section below some videos that will give you a detailed explanation on contextual antonyms. Now let's go to section 2. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word that best completes each of the following sentences. And we want to use question 11 for illustrative purposes. The runner was dashed at 15 seconds at the end of the race. A, taped. B, timed. C, bell. D, neutralized. Well, the right option here is time, because already we have a context clue here. You know, 15 seconds. It has to do with time. All right, so that is the exact option here. And so register is a grammatical principle that we need to understand, because register has to do with the use of words in a particular professional situation or a particular field of activity. All right, so that's the way it is. Taped doesn't refer to that. You can tape an audio or a video, you know, of something. You can have an audio or video tape. So it has a different meaning. Belled is out of it, neutralized is out of it. So let's now go to section 3. In each of the following sentences, A list of possible interpretations is given. Choose the interpretation that is most appropriate for each sentence. Now, when you are interpreting sentences, you need a number of, you need to understand a number of principles. Okay. The first one is imagery. All right. The second one is symbolism. The third one is metaphor. And the fourth one is contextualization. These are literary devices that we can use to figure out the correct interpretation of a sentence. If you check the description section, you will find a video I uploaded on sentence interpretation. That will give you a detailed explanation of how we can use imagery, symbolism, metaphor, or contextualization in interpreting sentences. Now, how do we use imagery? When you look at the expression, then you ask yourself, what picture does this create in my mind? Now, let's look at question 21 and use it for illustration. My grandmother once told me that old habits die hard. This means that old habits are A, easily corrected, B, difficult to change, C, short-lived, D, forever changing. Now, first, using imagery, let's look at, old habits die hard. Let's look at this expression. What picture does it paint in our mind? First of all, we have the picture of habits that we have formed long ago and have been part of someone's life. And then die hard means that they hardly die. When you talk of dying, it gives you a picture of putting a stop. When someone dies, the person's life comes to a stop. So when a habit dies, it stops. So that gives us the picture. And also we look at, another thing we can use here is contextualization. So we use a combination of imagery and contextualization, because the word die, all right, and the word hard put together, die hard, gives us, the meaning that refer to a stop. We know the meaning of die and we know the meaning of hard. So if something die hard, it means it is difficult for it to stop. So having this meaning in mind, let's now look at the options. Option A, easily corrected, no. B, difficult to change, yes. Of course, you can see how we were able to figure out the meaning. Now, option C, short-lived, no. D, forever changing, no. Okay, so let's now go to section 4. From the words letter A to D, below each of the following sentences, choose the word or group of words that is nearest in meaning to the underlined word as it is used in the sentence. So here we are now dealing with contextual antonyms. Before we talked about contextual, here we are dealing with contextual synonyms. Before we talked about contextual antonyms, but here we are going to talk about synonyms. Synonyms are words nearest in meaning. Antonyms are words opposite in meaning. So I want you to have this in mind. And contextual means how it is used in a sentence. All right. So let's now look at question 31. The boy was reluctant to carry out the order of his senior. The word reluctant is underlined. We have to look at the meaning. If you are reluctant, you are unwilling, you are disinclined, you are unenthusiastic. In fact, you are not willing to do something when you are reluctant. So having this in mind, let's look at the options. Option A is adamant, no. B, slow, no. C, sluggish, no. D, unwilling, yes. That's the actual meaning. Okay, so first you figure out the meaning of the word. So what we can see here is that you need a large active vocabulary in order to answer questions correctly in the objective test part of the English language in the WASSCE exam. All right. Now let's go to section 5. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word or group of words that best completes each of the following sentences. All right, so here we are dealing specifically with collocation, words that best completes. Because here we are looking at when you have a group of two or more words that tend to be used together, frequently used together in English sentences. There are certain words that collocate with each other, and there are certain words that do not collocate. So here we are to find the exact collocate, and we want to use question 41 to illustrate how you can answer questions correctly in section 5. So 41, the soldiers lay dash the town to arrest the terrorists. A, siege on. B, siege to. C, siege with. D, siege by. So here you see that the word siege collocates with to. You lay siege to. And when you lay siege to a place, you surround the place. So the correct option is C. The soldiers lay siege to the town to arrest the terrorists. To lay siege to a place is to when security agents such as policemen or soldiers surround a particular place with a view to making arrests, of the people there or attacking that particular place. Okay, so let's now go to section 6. In the following passage, the numbered gaps indicate missing words. Against each number in the list below the passage, 4 options are given in columns lettered A to D. Choose the word that is the most suitable to fill the numbered gaps in the passage. Now, you need the knowledge of register to answer questions in this section. If you check the description section below, you will find a video I uploaded on register in English. All right, that will give you a detailed explanation of how to answer questions on register. But let's look at question 71, which we decide to use for illustration here. Hardly a day passes without news of terrible accidents on our roads. Most of the time, these are caused by the ignorance and dash of the drivers. So here we are dealing with the register of road transportation. All right. So we are dealing with the register of road transportation, and you need to understand the words that are associated with driving or motoring. All right. So let's now look at it. Most of the time, these are caused by ignorance and dash of the drivers. Now, A, forgetfulness, no, because it doesn't really fit into this field of activity. Carelessness, that is option B, is correct because another word for carelessness is recklessness. All right, reckless driving. Option C, wickedness, is out of it. the doubtfulness is also out of it. So you need to understand words that are appropriate in a particular field of activity. For example, words that are associated with politics are different from words that you use in talking about agriculture. And the words you use in talking about agriculture are also different from the words you use in discussing sports. All right. So every field of human activity has its own unique language, and there are terms and terminologies that are frequently used when talking about a particular field of activity. This is what we call register. According to Jonathan Swift, talking about style of writing, he described it as putting proper words in proper places. So when you are given a passage in section 6, there are different gaps that you need to fill in, fill with suitable words that are most suitable, appropriate words. All right. Now, having said this, we are through with part 1 of the English language exam, which is objective test questions. So now let's go to part 2. And here, English language 2 is about theory questions. The theory questions in part 2 are sub-classified into 3. Section A is essay writing, section B, comprehension, section C, summary writing. Now let's look at this one by one, beginning with section A, which is essay writing. Here you can see that we are given 5 questions from which you choose one. And these 5 questions are taken from different forms of writing. Let's look at question 1. Your brother, who is in the 3rd year in another school, has written to confide in you that he is about to stop schooling and go into business. Write to him advising him against his decision. You need to understand what this question is about. It's about letter writing. But what type of letter writing is this? Now, this is informal letter writing. Why do we say it's informal letter writing? Because you are to write a letter to your brother. Any letter you write to someone with whom you share a personal relationship, that letter is an informal letter. Whether you are writing to a relative of yours or a friend of yours, all right, it is an informal letter. You share a relationship with somebody, either a social relationship or a biological relationship. And so when you write to people like that, you are writing an informal letter. All right. Let's look at question 2. Write an article suitable for publication in a national newspaper on the topic, the importance of promoting good reading habits in students. Now, before I say something about question 2, I need to emphasize here that, you know, you need to look for a detailed video or videos, because I know I've given a lesson on informal letter writing, you know, probably up to 3 different videos that I have uploaded. There's a video that you will find which I uploaded recently, you know, how to write a letter easily, the nitty-gritty of writing a letter in the WASSCE exam. Now, having said that, let's look at question number 2. Write an article suitable for publication in a national newspaper on the topic, the importance of promoting good reading habits in students. Now, this particular question is on article writing. And I want you to check the description section. You will find a video that will give you a detailed explanation on how to write an article. All right. There's a particular video in which I explained and gave a sample article showing you a clear illustration of how to write an article, step-by-step explanation. So look for the video in the description section. That brings us to question number 3. As the senior prefect of your school, write a letter to the principal pointing out at least 2 practices among students that should be discouraged and 2 habits that should be promoted among teachers. Now, this is another question on letter writing. Now, what type of letter are you expected to write here? Of course, it is a formal letter. Why do I say it is a formal letter? Because you are asked to write to the principal, all right? And the principal is someone who occupies an official position. Whenever you are writing a letter to someone who occupies an official position, you are writing a formal letter, because a formal letter is an official letter. You are writing to an office, and that is why the person has been addressed by his official title. Principal is not a kingship term, is an official title of somebody who is the head of a secondary school. So if you are asked to write a letter to the commissioner for works or the minister of education, that is a formal letter. Again, I will implore you to look for a video I have uploaded on formal letter writing. There are a number of videos. Just search for at least one of them that will give you a detailed explanation of how to write a formal letter. Question number 4. A new principal has been posted to your school. Write a speech you will deliver at the welcome party organized for him, informing him about some problems faced by students. This question is on speech writing. You know, a speech is a formal talk that you give to an audience. You know, is an address, is a talk you give to a group of people, all right, who listen to you and you speak to them. So when you write a speech, then of course you are writing it in a way that you will deliver the speech. So it is one form of writing that is written to be spoken. So you have to have that in mind. It's a unique form of writing, because when you are writing a speech, it's different from when you are writing an article. You are writing a speech with a given occasion and a given audience in mind. Here, this is a welcome party organized, you know, to welcome a new principal to your school. So you have that in mind as you write the speech, okay? So again, you will find a video that I have uploaded on speech writing, all right? You will find it in the description section. You will discover how to write a speech. Question number 5, write a story that ends with the statement, I had never felt so embarrassed in my life. This question is on story writing. And of course, to write a story, a good story for that matter, you need to understand the procedure. So there's a video I have uploaded. Of course, a number of videos to be quite precise, because you know, one of them is how to write a good story in 4 steps, in 4 easy steps. Another one, a story that ends in had I known. Then yet you have another one, story writing in the West African Senior School Certificate Examination. So these various videos will give you a step-by-step explanation of how to write a story. Even if you have never written a good story before, if you watch these videos, you will have a clear picture of how to write a story. You will learn the techniques that will help you to write a story easily. All right. Okay, so having said this, let's now go to section B. But before we go to section B, I want to take you briefly through the writing process. There are certain things you need to do before you write. Before you write, you brainstorm. I can say that writing is divided into three main parts, or three main steps, if you like. Step one is pre-writing. That's the planning aspect, the preparation, that you put into the writing before you actually start to write. It is said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. But if you plan, of course, you increase your chances of achieving success. Now, then, pre-writing, writing, and rewriting. Let's look at the processes. Number one is pre-writing, and this is the point at which you brainstorm or think about the topic in order to generate ideas for your essay. Then once these ideas come, you jot them down. You create what we call an outline. An outline is a list of the main ideas you are going to discuss in your writing. All right. Now, step two is writing. Pre-writing and then writing. Now, you begin with the first feature. Ensure the three-part content, which is introduction, body, and conclusion. So when you start writing, if you pick a letter, you have to take note that if a letter starts with an address, a speech starts with a title or heading, an article starts with a title or heading, a story starts with a title or heading, but a letter starts with an address. So you need to begin with the first feature of the particular form of writing you have chosen to do, and then you follow the procedure. All right. Then in rewriting, you edit your work before submitting your script to ensure that you correct all errors that may lead you into losing marks. All right. So let's now go further. We have seen the writing process. Now we are going to section B, which is comprehension. All right. And we want to pick question 6 in the West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2020. Of course, we have been illustrating with questions from June 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. Now we look at section B, which is comprehension. Read question 6, of course. Read the following passage carefully and answer the questions on it. My mother never thought it necessary to inform any of her children that she would pay them a visit in Lagos at any time. Now, this is the beginning of the passage, and we are not going into the full passage. Check the description section. You will find various videos I've uploaded that give a detailed explanation of how to answer questions, how to answer comprehension questions. All right, you will find the videos in the description section. But let's look at questions A, B, C here. Question A: why did the writer's mother never inform her children of her intention to visit them? So here you can see exactly that this question A is an example of what we call direct question. All right, direct question or factual question. Factual or direct question. If you check the description section, you will find a video on, types of comprehension questions and how to answer them correctly. So you will find that there are different types of comprehension questions and different correct ways of answering them. So question A is what we want to use to illustrate here, and it's an example of factual or direct comprehension question. Now, why did the writer's mother never inform her children of her intention to visit them? When you pick a question, you will take note of the what we call the context clue. Now, what do we mean by context clue? A context clue is exactly what shows you that you are getting to the answer in the passage. Now, context clue. Let me show you how we use context clue. Now, we find context clue in the question. Now, take note of the question here. Why did the writer's mother never inform her children of her intention to visit? Now, inform her children of her intention to visit. Never inform. So that's exactly the context clue. We take note of that expression, and then when we read the passage looking for the answer, these context clues will help us to identify the answer, especially in factual or direct questions. Now, let's go to the passage. My mother never thought it necessary to inform any of her children that she would pay them a visit at any time. You see? So that is exactly the way it is. Now, when you read the passage, you discover that, the writer's mother assumed that none of her children would refuse to welcome her to their class, to their house. So she never bothered to inform them. After all, none of her children would refuse to admit her each time she visits them. She looks at their house as her own house, and so that's the reason she never bothered to inform them. All right, so I have uploaded a video that gave clear answers to this particular comprehension passage. So look for it in the description section below. And this brings us to the use of context clues. Let's look at here just to further illustrate how we can answer questions in this section. Use context clues to identify the specific points required to answer the question. In other words, you look for the keywords. Now, what are the keywords here? Why did the writer's mother never inform her children of her intention to visit them? You see, these words are the context clue. They are the keywords. Never inform her children of her intention to visit them. These are context clues. Then you look at the passage. Let's look at the passage once again. My mother never thought it necessary to inform any of her children that she would pay them a visit in Lagos at any time. You can see that this is the context clue. A clue is something that gives you a signal that something exists or that something is true. All right, so then we are looking for the answer, and the next sentence gives us the answer. After all, no child will refuse her entry into their home. This is the exact answer. Why did the writer's mother never inform her children of her intention to visit them? It was because she believed no child, that her children would not refuse her entry into their home. That was just the simple reason. that she didn't inform any of them whenever she wanted to visit them. Now, as I earlier mentioned, there are different types of comprehension questions: factual questions, inferential questions, grammatical questions, figures of speech questions, vocabulary questions, and a whole lot of others. Again, you need to check the description section below. You will find, a video on the types of comprehension questions and how to answer them correctly. Now, let's look at section C, which is summary writing. Again, we are taking it from the WASSCE English language exam of June 2020, the theory questions part. Section C is summary writing. Now we're looking at question 7. Read the following passage carefully and answer the questions on it. All right. Now, if you watch the video I have uploaded on summary writing, you will see the procedure that I have taught. I always emphasize that students should read the questions first in order to simplify the process for them. So let's look at question A. In 3 sentences, one for each, state 3 benefits derived from forests. You see, by reading the question, we already know that the passage is about benefits derived from forests. And of course, this question has shown us what we are to look for when we start reading the passage. So it simplifies the process and helps you to save time, so that when you start reading the passage, then of course you immediately begin to extract the ideas that you will use to present your summary answers. Then question B, in 3 sentences, one for each, state 3 measures to control deforestation. So we are looking at benefits derivable from forests and measures to control forestation. These are all key ideas discussed in the passage. And how do we know? Just by reading the question. So reading the question exactly gives you already a clear picture of what the passage is about, so that when you start reading, you already know what you are looking for. All right. So now let's move a step further. Now, again, if just as in comprehension section, in the summary section, we also use context clues to identify the points required, in the question. So here, when we look at the questions, we identify the keywords. Question A, for example, says, in 3 sentences, one for each, state 3 benefits derived from forest. So benefits derived from forest give us the context clue. So as we read, anywhere we come across benefits derived from forest, or words related to this, then we will look at that area critically, because that gives us the clue that yes, we have come to the particular place that talks about benefits derived from forest, which is what we are asked to summarize in the first place. Then in question B, in 3 sentences, one for each, state 3 measures to control deforestation. So we are looking at measures to control deforestation. That gives us a clue as well. So here, when you read the question, you read the question and you read the passage, then you will understand. Please watch the video that I have uploaded that gives you a detailed explanation. And here is how you present your answers using a preamble. You may or may not use a preamble, but when you watch the video, you will understand how to use each of these methods. Now, this brings us to the third part of the WASSCE English exam. This is English language part 3 and is made up of 7 sections. This is the part that, provides questions, that present questions on test of orals. Now, in section 1, you have questions on vowel sound. In section 2, you find questions on consonant sounds. In section 3, you find questions on rhymes. In section 4, you find questions on word stress. In section 5, you find questions on stress patterns. In section 6, you find questions on emphatic stress. And in section 7, you find questions on speech sounds and phonetic symbols. All right? Again, you will find various videos that I have uploaded that will give you detailed explanation of these various sections of the English language part 3. Now let's look at some of them. In section 1, we're again illustrating with West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2020, English Language 3, Objective Questions, Test of Orals. Section 1, from the words lettered A to D, choose the word that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letter or letters underlined. Now, let's look at questions 1 and 2, all right, and use this for illustration. So question 1, we are already given a word, womb, womb, all right? And then the letters underline OMB, all right? So first you need to understand that when you transcribe this, what you have, womb, all right? Womb, that exactly is what you find. The word womb is the exact word you find, and the sound of the U sound there is what we are looking at. But when you actually understand the exact sound, then you will be able to find the exact option. Now, when you look at womb, you see that it contains the long U sound, womb, womb. Again, you see that B is silent here. It's not womb, it is womb, womb. So we are looking for this sound, the long U sound. And so with this in mind, we look at the option. Option A is book. Book contains a short U sound, short, not the long one. It contains the short U sound. Then option B is full, and that is the correct one because here it contains the long U sound, full, full, womb, full. So you have to test, the words, and you will perceive the sameness of sound. And then option C is come and is out of it. Option D is bum and is out of it. Then question 2 is death, death. Now here you have a word, death. Let me see. Okay, this is a long one. Then you have T here. This is how to transcribe it. Please take note that this is well, let me wipe this and try to get it right. So let me transcribe that. You have the long S sound. There are 2 dots here. Then you have T. This is death. And this is the sound you have in girl. This is the sound you have in word. This is the sound you have in church. Is A, the long S sound. Now, with this in mind, let's then look at the options. Option A is pet. This is a short S sound. It's not the long one. It is pets, pets. B is worth, worth. This is the correct one because this one contains this sound. A, worth, worth. Option C is sword, out of it. D is deed, out of it. All right. Now, let's go to section 2. From the words lettered A to D, choose the word that has the same consonant sound or sounds as the one represented by the letter or letters underlined. Now, let's take question 16 to illustrate how to answer this question. Here we have the word given here is girl, and the letter underlined is G, G. But here the sound is G, G, girl. It's not gel, it's girl, girl. So we are looking for the sound of G, 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 girl. All right, so you need to actually find the word, make sure you articulate the sound correctly and identify it before you begin to look for the options. Now let's look at option A is badge. This is G, G, G. And this is G, 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 G. So it's not the same. Then B is gist, gist. And again, it's not the same as girl, G, G. Then C is bringing. So you can see the sound of G in bring, G, G, bringing. All right, girl, bringing, girl. So you can see that option C is correct because we are concerned with the sound here, not the letters. There's a remarkable discrepancy between English letters and English sounds. In writing, we use letters, but in speaking, we use sounds. So, but certain letters represent certain sounds, and your ability to find the correspondence between English letters and English sound is what we mean by phonetic skills. You will find a video I uploaded on how to identify English speech sounds in written words by using certain phonetic rules or phonetic skills. If you check the description section, you will find a video I have uploaded on that. Then we look at question 17. Let's look at it to illustrate. You look at the word height, and the letter underlined here is H, height. All right. Now let's look at the options. Note the sound of H here in height, height. All right. Then option A is house, and that is the sound, because the sound of H in height is the same sound of H in house. Height, house, height, house. All right. Now we look at option B, it is A. Now H is silent in A, the A apparent or A to the throne. Then option C is honest. Again, H is silent in honest. It's not honest, it is honest. Then in D, H is also silent in hour, hour, and hour. It's not hour, it is hour. So H is silent. Now, these are the tricks that you need to understand. Certain English letters are silent when we pronounce the sound, but they are visible when we write them. All right, so you take note of them, and they will help you in picking the right options in test of orals. Now let's look at section 3. I hope we are, well, yes, we are through with sections 1 and 2. So section 3, from the words lettered A to D, choose the word that rhymes with the given word. So this section 3 is dealing with rhyme. What is rhyme? A rhyme simply refers to sameness of sound. You know, where you have two or more sounds having the same sound or sounding alike. All right. Now, let's look at question 31. What we have here is sweet. S-U-I-T-E is sweet. It's not suit, it's sweet. All right. What you find in a hotel, you find a suite. All right. Is the exact words that you find is the sound you find in sweet, the one that is sweet when you put it into your mouth. Sweet, S-W-E-E-T, has the same sound as S-U-I-T-E. All right, so having known that this is sweet, which is, you know, which is the long E sound. All right, the long E sound, E, sweet, sweet. Then you have a colon, sweet. Now let's look at the options. A, thrice. No, there's no sound of E in thrice. Then this is suit. Of course, this is suit, and it's not, it doesn't have the long E sound. C is sweet, that I already referred to. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Okay. D is sweat, is out of it. Okay, so this is how to answer questions, you know, in rhyme. If you look at question number 32, you will discover that the word insight, let's see, it doesn't rhyme with inside because we are talking of height, not hide. Then this quiet, quiet, quiet is different from height, sight. Then C is excite. This actually is the exact rhyme here. Excite and incite, each of them ends in sight. Incite, excite. Then D is sunrise, which is definitely out of it. All right. Okay, so let's go to section 4. In each of the following questions, the main or primary stress is indicated by writing the syllable on which it occurs in capital letters. Now, you will find a video I have uploaded on word stress. Again, you will find a video I uploaded on rhymes. All the sections of this English English language exam, you will find the videos, you know, in the description section below. Now let's look at question number 36. We are given the word overwhelming. All right, overwhelming. So here you look at, you can use intuition here. You know, intuition has to do with, you know, getting back inside your subconscious, and then you will test the given word, attempt to pronounce it based on your knowledge of how English words are spoken over time. If you are a user of the English language, you have some knowledge already programmed within you. You have that innate ability to internalize the knowledge, to internalize the rules of the language. And if you go down memory lane, or you just look inwards, you know, and try to pronounce the words, you will get it, you know, you will get it correct most of the time. Now, again, there are various rules of stress. You will find a video that discusses how to answer questions on stress, on word stress, and you will find the rules of stress explained in detail in those videos. But let's look at this question of well-mean. Okay, A, overwhelming. Well, people don't speak like that. So A is out of it. B, overwhelming. Well, that again bastardizes the sound. So if you look at where stress is placed, stress is the extra force used when pronouncing a syllable, I mean a word or a syllable. When you stress a particular syllable in a word, it means you pronounce that particular syllable louder and longer than the other syllables. So if in option B, you decide to put stress on VER, then you distort the sound because you will be pronouncing this overwhelming, which of course doesn't sound natural. Then C, we have overwhelming, which actually is quite correct. The stress is on overwhelming, overwhelming. So you see that's the correct option. Option D is completely out of it. So this is how you answer questions on stress. Of course, if you check the description section, you will find videos that give you detailed explanation of how to answer questions on stress correctly in the WASSCE English exam. So let's go to section 5. In the following options, A to D, all the words except one have the same stress pattern. Identify the one with the different stress pattern and shade your answer in the usual way. Now, this is stress pattern. We have to look at, we have to pronounce all the words, and then we know which one has a different stress pattern. Now, I mean, A is undo, undo, undo. You see that stress is on the second syllable because the first syllable is a prefix. And one of the rules of stress is that prefixes are almost always unstressed. You don't usually stress, the prefix. Then B is ago, ago. Now, again, you see that stress is on the second syllable. So A and B have the same stress. Now, C is unless, unless. Again, stress is on the second syllable because the first syllable is a prefix. So A, B, and C have the same pattern, the same stress pattern. So it's likely that D will be the right option. Let's see where stress is placed here. This is legal, legal, legal. So stress is on the first syllable here, unlike A, B, and C that have stress on the second syllable. All right, so that's exactly the way it is. So this brings us to section 6, which is on emphatic stress. Sorry, let me highlight this right away. Now, in each of the following sentences, the word that receives the emphatic stress is written in capital letters. From the questions lettered A to D, choose the one to which the given sentence is the appropriate answer. Now, let's look at question 46 for illustration. The man brought the newspaper T is missing here, so let's put it. The man brought the newspaper. Now, the stress is on brought. Now, what do we do? What do we do in emphatic stress? First of all, we take note of the stressed word. The stressed word here is brought. In other words, in this sentence, the man brought the newspaper. The word brought is given emphatic stress. Emphatic stress is a kind of stress that is imposed on a word to draw attention to that particular piece of information, or to emphasize it. All right. Another name for emphatic stress is contrastive stress. And why it is contrastive is that, you know, if we say the man brought the newspaper, it is because there is an opposing view, all right, that the man didn't bring the newspaper, either that she threw it away or that he forgot the newspaper. But definitely there's an opposing view that has to do with this action. So that is why it is called contrastive stress, because it is used when a speaker wants to emphasize a particular point and to say that one thing is true and not the other. All right? You can say the man brought the newspaper. He didn't forget it. All right? So there is a contrast between bringing the paper and forgetting the paper. All right? So that is the way stress is used here. So let's look at the options, and then we find the option that contains the correct answer. Option A, did the woman bring the newspaper? This is not correct because the idea of bringing is already mentioned here. We are looking for an opposite word, a word that contrasts with brought. A, did the man bring the newspaper? Of course, the emphasis is not on man or woman. The emphasis is on brought. Option C, did the man bring the magazine? Well, the emphasis is not on the newspaper. The emphasis is on brought. Then D, did the man read the newspaper? Again, you see, this is the absolute answer, because the speaker here is saying the man brought the newspaper, but he did not read the newspaper. So there is a kind of controversy here. Someone is probably saying that the man read the newspaper, and the other speaker is saying, no, the man merely brought the newspaper. He did not read it. So the appropriate question is, did the man read the newspaper? No, the speaker is saying, no, the man didn't read the newspaper. He brought the newspaper. So you can see this is the way, you know, emphatic stress works in English. Now, the last section, which is section 7, from the words lettered A to D, choose the word that contains the sound represented by the given phonetic symbol. So here we are dealing with phonetic symbols. You know, English words are represented with certain symbols to give a written symbol of the sound. So each sound has a phonetic symbol that is written down to represent the sound. Now, we are given the phonetic symbol for the sound I. I. This is a diphthong. A diphthong is a double sound. And so a diphthong is a combination of two monotones. Okay. We have the short R, or probably even the one, but let's look at this. And the sound I mean the letter So here you see it is I. So now we look at the sound represented by this phonetic symbol. We look at the word that contains the sound represented by this phonetic symbol. Option A is rare, well, is out of it. Option B is ice. That's quite the correct option, because ice is transcribed like this. Ice. All right, ice. So you have this phonetic symbol contained in this word, ice. Option C is A, no. B is fuel, no, I mean D. So the right option is B, which is ice, containing the phonetic symbol of I. All right, so that is exactly what it is, and this is where we draw the curtain in today's video. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and share it with your friends and relations. If you have anyone, a friend of yours or a relative or a guardian, let me say your ward or your children that are going to sit for this exam, you need to share this video with them. That will help them to prepare adequately for the exam. Now, if you have not subscribed to this channel, this is the time for you to hit the notification bell alongside the subscribe bell. The subscribe icon, so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be notified instantly and you will have free access to all the videos we upload here. If you have any comments, any questions, any suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye for now and remain blessed.
Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you in the new video. Thank you.